Unspoken Issues.
Okay, let's get into our next story here in the 1993 Marvel Holiday Special. This one is titled Present Tense, written by Fabian Nicieza, penciled by Darick Robertson, inked by Larry Malstead, and lettered by Brad K. Joyce, also colored by Joe Rosas. And just to kind of give you an idea, this is a New Warrior story, and our team really has been on the New Warriors at this time for quite a bit. If you were reading New Warriors at the time, then seeing this story in the Marvel Holiday Special felt like a New Warrior story, I'm sure, to you. And now my overall impression of this, titled Present Tense, is 11 pages. It's a nice slice of life holiday story. Almost either pairs of New Warriors or a teammate by themselves navigating, getting ready for Christmas in their own way. It gives these small glimpses into each character's background, their culture, and emotional space at that point in time. At the end of the story, the team gets together and they celebrate their fellowship and appreciation for each other. Mostly it's Speedball saying, hey, I got the greatest gift ever. It's my thanks. Thanks for being my friends. Thanks for being my teammates. There's a message there, you know, when you're reading through this. This isn't action-packed, although we do open up with Night Thrasher and Silhouette just taking out some people. If you were in the Marvel Universe and working as a Santa in New York in the early 90s, you were prone to being attacked by some thugs. That's going to happen again here, I think, in another story. But Night Thrasher and Silhouette are taking out these gang members or thugs that ended up stealing some money from a Santa that was working the streets for charity. It's a pretty quiet story, and most of it worked for me. I mean, these superheroes aren't superheroes 24/7. They're also people, so it kind of focuses on that. And there's conversations that are had between these team members. You know, with Thrash and Silhouette, there's a bit of a conversation about privilege between those two. Thrash, I think, this is Night Thrasher, comes from a rich background, very wealthy background. And Silhouette, I believe, points out that he's probably never had to want for something during the holidays. Rage and Speedball are doing some last-minute shopping, which I think this interaction was my favorite. There's some humor but a lot of heart in them kind of pairing off and going shopping. Firestar and Justice. Justice is in prison at this time, and Firestar is calling him, kind of touch base with him during the holidays. They are obviously in a relationship, and she misses him. There's Nova and Laura Dunham. So Nova heads over to Laura's house and gives her this awkward gift. Nova. Rich is more awkward here. He has this bit of imposter syndrome, and Laura's very well off. So he goes to give her a gift. There's a big party going on. She invites him in. He's like, no, before that, he's very much like, I don't fit in with your family. He doesn't say that, but he definitely feels like he doesn't fit in there. And he takes her walking and gives her a cubic zirconia ring. He says, hey, it's real cubic zirconia. It's not a diamond ring or anything like that. And she's very appreciative of it. Very nice. And says, yeah, hey, by the way, we're going to go skiing. At the end, we get our group coming together at the headquarters. Speedball is like, I want to just give you the greatest gift of all, my thanks. Which is silly, but there's some heart to that. He appreciates his friends. He appreciates his teammates and wants them to know that. My favorite moment, though, is definitely Speedball and Rage shopping, especially the gift that Speedball is going to give to his dad. In a nice bit of product placement, Marvel puts a toy that came out in the early 90s of Venom, where if you push the button on this line of toys, they said a phrase. Venom's phrase was, I want to eat your brains. That's a very Venom thing. I remember going to a KB Toys and they had a bunch of discounted toys. If I remember correctly, this thing was marked down. I remember playing with that exact figure, pressing the button and listening to it in the KB Toys. Didn't buy it, but man, took me back. And it's funny because Speedball is buying this, and I didn't realize this until I started looking over the history of Speedball's dad. And it turns out Speedball's dad is a lawyer who absolutely hates vigilantes. So here, Speedball either is unknowingly getting his dad the worst present ever, or knowingly getting his dad a present that's going to rub him the wrong way, because it's like the villain and, well, I'll say villain, the anti-hero of the time. Venom is taking on the more anti-hero vigilante role here at this point. It's also relatable anxiety that I have about getting somebody the worst gift, or a gift that I have no idea how it will land. It's so funny because I think Rage knows. Rage is like, oh yeah, your dad's going to love that. Probably eye rolled at the same time he said that. There's a question here. What was the worst or weirdest holiday gift you've ever bought? There's always been this one gift that I bought my stepmom that I regret. I'm that type of person that will not let something from 30 to 40 years go continue to bother me. I bought her a Mickey Spillane novel. If I remember correctly, Mickey Spillane writes a lot of crime noir. I knew that she read. That was just about all I got. I was at Kmart and I found this book. I'm like, oh yeah, she reads. I'm like, oh, I'll get her this Mickey Spillane thing. Mike Hammer, if I remember correctly, was the character. I doubt she ever read a single word of that book. I didn't realize, I was a young kid. I didn't realize how books are not just, hey, I got a book, let's read it. Books are, oh, I like this author, let's read it. I like this genre, let's read it. That was lost on me back then. So to this day, I still remember that. Oh my goodness. What else do we have here? Yeah, the title of the story, Present Tense, is a neat play on words because there is a bit of tension among the new warriors that's explored through the holidays. I already talked about the privilege conversation, the conversation that Firestar has with Justice. She obviously misses him. Rich is feeling very out of place. It's a good play on words here. Each of these characters celebrate a bit differently by facing their own holiday stress. These 11 pages do a good job of capturing that. People handle holidays in personal and sometimes heavy ways. As you get older, you start to realize what loneliness can feel like when throughout your younger age, you are surrounded with so many people. So it's important to look for friendships and connection and to feel that through the holidays, because if you don't, it can weigh on your soul when it's not there. These universal holiday themes that are kind of talked about in this book. You got loneliness. I already talked about that a little bit. You also have gratitude, where Speedball is coming together and saying, hey, here's my gift. It's my gratitude to all of you. There's also connection. It's important to connect during the holidays. At the end of this story, they're just at the headquarters waiting for Speedball to give them his gift. But, you know, our final page is the team all together with smiles on their faces. And yeah, that final scene, Speedball said, hey, here's my gift to you. It's my thanks. Yeah, that's cheesy. I mean, I get it, but it's also very sincere. It's very true to Speedball. I think he sees the team as a family unit. He sees them as somebody that's been through thick and thin. Some of these people have saved his life more than he can count. So he loves them. And yeah, cheesy as it may be, I think it's genuine. Talk a little bit about Darick Robertson's art here. This is early Robertson. It's definitely not as gritty as things are going to get for him, because if you know him for The Boys, well, he's got some work under his belt at the time he takes over The Boys. But this is great art. If you were reading The New Warriors in the 90s, this is kind of what you expected at the time. As far as where this story places itself, this is a quiet middle entry. Granted, it's the second story, but there's no twist ending, no big Marvel moment, nothing like that in here. There's no big villains. The strength of this is the discussion or the message and fellowship and the small human holiday details that are here. So yeah, you're not going to walk away going, oh my goodness, have you read Present Tense? I think there are a couple other stories in this book that will stand out more than this one will, but it's a good entry. After reading this story, there's value in not spending the holidays alone. Gifts are nice, but the real present is appreciation for the people who support you.